Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Kian. So excited to have you. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications if you want to be one of the first to get notified when I post a video. I've kind of been MIA. I just moved across the country. This is my first video in my new room, and I figured I'd just do a Q&A just so I could get something up. I love Q&As, and I have a lot of other videos that are coming. I have wedding dress shopping, I have moving vlogs. However, these are just so much easier to edit, and I've gone like a whole week and a half without posting, so I thought this would be something I could knock out pretty quickly and get up for you. And a lot of you guys have questions regarding my move, the engagement, so let's just get into it. Are you guys moving in together now that you're engaged? No, me and Kyle will not be living together until after we're married. I'll probably find a place for us a month before the wedding and start getting everything set up so it is ready to go after we get married. That is something that was super important to me. I did not want to live together before getting married. For one, like with temptation, helps a lot. And two, I just didn't want, it was just something special to wait for marriage. Like, it's a reward of marriage. And I found moving in with a boyfriend in the past, it was essentially like giving them all the benefits of being married without the actual commitment to it, and really combining your life and building your life with someone that you're not like committed to in God's eyes. Someone wants to know if I will share my non-negotiable list. Yeah. So I had a huge list. Not all of them were non-negotiables, but I will share the ones that were. So my first non-negotiable is loves God passionately. Someone who is caring and genuine. Something that was really important to me was a childlike spirit. Someone who can lead us in our faith. That was a non-negotiable for me. Someone who was self-aware and always wanting to grow, ambitious, intelligent. Someone who is sociable. I really wanted someone who was outgoing and was able to talk to new people easily. And I think someone who is easygoing was definitely a non-negotiable. I don't think I could be with someone who's super type A or like a perfectionist. I definitely need someone who can go with the flow. And Kyle's great because he's even more so go with the flow than I am. One thing I put down is intentional in his pursuit. So the fact that Kyle asked me to be his girlfriend after a few days and was just very clear about where he was at and his intentions with the relationship, and then we got engaged quickly, that definitely came to fruition. Those are some of the things in my list. Hope that helps. Someone asked, where do I shop and outfit inspiration? I don't post a ton of fashion stuff on my channel, but that is something I would like to start posting more. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I do a lot of online shopping. I love like Princess Polly. I love a Sabo skirt. However, if I do buy anything from there, it's usually from Poshmark. Showpo. I'm actually an ambassador for Showpo. I love their clothes. But yeah, mostly online. Otherwise, sometimes I'll go to a store called Last Chance, and it basically is where all the Nordstrom returns go. So you can get, it's kind of like thrift shopping, but you're thrift shopping for brands that are sold at Nordstrom, so you can find a lot of higher end and higher quality stuff there, and that's always fun. Someone wants a room tour and the moving process. Like I said, I'll be doing a ton of moving vlogs. Just wanted to get this some kind of video up first, so I'll definitely give you a room tour once I get closer to finishing it. Someone asked if Kyle would share his testimony, and I wanted to get your opinion on this. Obviously, I've uploaded quite a few videos with Kyle over the past few weeks, and he's going to be a huge part of my life, and he loves being in videos with me. So I wanted to ask you guys what you prefer. I do want Kyle to share his testimony and film a video on it. So do you guys prefer the content of us together to be on a separate channel, and then this kind of just be like a main channel, and then any relationship vlogs or just sit down videos with Kyle on a separate channel? Or are you okay with it all being on one? Let me know what you guys want in the comments below. That would be very helpful for me. A lot of questions about the wedding and when it is. We actually just picked a date for our wedding. We went and toured a venue. The first week we got in Arizona, and the date was available. We are getting married in October of this year. So what is that, like an 8-month engagement, 7-month engagement? What steps have you and Kyle taken to walk out purity, avoid temptation, and sexual immorality? So this is something I told you guys I would definitely share with you, and it's been kind of more of a learning process than I thought it would be. However, I can't wait to talk more in depth with Kyle here about different boundaries we've set in place. We'll go more into depth with all of that in a separate video, because I really want to go into that deeper. Someone asked how old me and Kyle are. I am 25, Kyle is 28, and we were both born in the fall. So I was born in October and he was born in November. Someone asked how the wedding planning is going. So since I knew I was actually going to get engaged before he proposed, I actually started wedding planning prior to the engagement, because I just knew the turnaround time for our wedding wasn't going to be extremely long. We decided in about 8 months would be the most doable for us, but we didn't want to wait a full year. So I actually started wedding planning before getting engaged, which actually became a little bit overwhelming. So then, I don't know, I can go more into depth about everything that happened there. So I stopped wedding planning, and then I was like, I don't want to plan anything until I'm engaged, so I can actually enjoy the engagement. Now that I am engaged, I am starting to wedding plan a little bit. Like I said, we went to go tour a venue, so I'll be sure to do wedding series videos. So if you guys have any questions or requests in that area, please leave them in the comments so I know what you guys want to see. Did Kyle ask your dad before proposing? Yes. So he had planned to sit down with both my parents and ask them for their blessing. However, we talked about it and decided that that was something we actually wanted to share together. So we sat down with my parents and talked to them about it, and they were extremely supportive, and both of them said yes. My mom was ecstatic, and my dad asked some good questions, but both of them are fully on board. Someone asked, when do we want to start trying for kids? This stuff happens so quickly. We want to be married for a while before we start coming with kids, start trying to have kids. We're saying at least be married for 3 years and then maybe have a kid our 4th year of marriage. But I mean, we've never been married and we don't really know what it's like, so that can definitely change, and it's definitely God's timing. I definitely want to be selfish and travel with my spouse and just really give him a lot of my attention before bringing kids into the picture. So we'll probably definitely wait at least 2 to 3 years, at least. Have you had any negative reactions to your engagement? So nobody I know personally has reacted negatively. The only people who have made negative comments are pretty much strangers on our engagement video, and it's usually people who haven't even watched me for a long time or watched any of my other videos, and they kind of just, I think, got recommended the video, so they have no clue who I am or who Kyle is or our story. So yeah, those are the only negative comments. It's just people thinking it's too soon. However, dating isn't really biblical, so it really does make sense that, when you want to get married, you get married, because God doesn't say anything about dating, and the whole idea of dating for a long time is definitely of the world. So we're definitely not concerned about it, and it's really cool to actually look through the comments and see so many other beautiful testimonies of short engagements, or just people getting engaged shortly after they met, and how successful all of those have been. I have yet to see any comments of people saying they got engaged very quickly and it didn't work out, when the Lord is at the center of it. So what are things you're looking forward to once you're married? I would say definitely living together, traveling together, really just doing life together. Obviously the physical stuff, very excited for that. Going apartment shopping together, eventually having kids, so many things. I'm really looking forward to the wedding itself. How did you stay close to God through college? I actually didn't know God until after I graduated, so I don't really have any answer for that. I'm sure finding community would definitely help. starting a women's Bible study for college-aged women. I think that would really help you stay close to the Lord, and really just finding friends who love Jesus. How do I know I'm not in a career rut, or is God trying to send me somewhere else? That is a great question. I don't know. I just feel like there is this deep calling within you that God makes it clear if you need to stay somewhere and you have a purpose there and you're supposed to be like maybe a light in your workplace, or if it's just a really uncomfortable situation and he's calling you to leave. I think a ton of prayer will help you have that discernment. For me, I've been in jobs that weren't necessarily the most fun, like waitressing. However, I knew there was a purpose in them, and for me, it was learning how to serve others, and God was really teaching me a lot there. So I think humbling yourself and asking God, are you still trying to teach me something here from this discontent, or are you telling me to move on? Because there was this one job that I didn't want to have, but God was teaching me so much through it. And then more recently, when I was waitressing, I kind of just got into a rut where I just really just did not want to be there anymore, and I didn't feel like God was teaching me much or calling me to stay there. So I think there's just two different feelings that you might have. It's like, one, this isn't my first choice to be here, but God is teaching me a lot through it. Or two, I'm just super discontent, unhappy, I dread going to work. I think that is definitely a different situation where maybe God is calling you out of it to step into something else. Someone asked, was I ever scared about dating? The one thing that I ran into, not surprisingly, was when we first started dating, I was really attached to my independence and singleness, and a lot of my identity actually was in singleness, which I didn't realize because obviously on YouTube I make videos about being single. So after me and Kyle started dating, it was like I had to shed that piece of my identity, and it was my whole life. It was my ministry. It's what I poured into. It's what I made videos about. It's what I was passionate about. It was my whole shindig. It was my whole whole stint. No, I don't know. And I had even a future planned around my singleness and future content I wanted to make. So I think that was the biggest difficulty transitioning into a relationship, was letting go of my identity in singleness, and that my purpose was in being single. And God really just showed me, your purpose isn't in singleness anymore. It was, but it's not anymore. And now I'm putting you in this relationship and giving you new purpose as a couple rather than you on your own. So I was very convinced that I was better off on my own and I had more purpose in singleness. So that was probably the hardest thing, transitioning from being single to in a relationship. Things to look for in finding a church. That's an amazing question. Me and Kyle are actually church shopping right now. So if you guys want a video on kind of our experience with church shopping, let me know and we can, give you the rundown of kind of how we're approaching it and what we're doing. Obviously, I lived here before, but I wanted to check out a bunch of different churches so Kyle could really, me and Kyle could really find a church that we both felt at home at, instead of him just coming to the church that I used to go to. So someone asked, how can you make God a priority when you struggle to put your phone away? That is a great question, and that's actually something I have been struggling with lately, is waking up and getting on my phone right away. So for me, what I do is I put my phone on airplane mode, and I don't touch my phone until after I've spent time with God, prayed, and read a little bit of my Bible. And this has only been the last 3 days, so it's something I, go through waves of struggling with. But I think just turning it on airplane mode or turning it off completely and putting it in another room and just setting a boundary with yourself, I don't touch my phone from 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. And using that time to read a devotional or something of that sort. But it's really about setting boundaries with your phone. Is it difficult to keep God first in the midst of the new things going on in your life? Yes, for sure. I'm very blessed to be in a relationship where we pray and we go to church together, we go to Bible study together, and we discuss God together. However, even when we do all those things, it can still feel like you're putting other things before God. So that's definitely been a little bit harder for me lately, being in a relationship and really finding just time with God on my own and not just with Kyle. When I'm focused too much on myself, it's really hard for me to focus on God and ministry and, you know, pouring into others. So something I'm working on. I think now that I'm settled in a place, it'll be a lot easier. These pigeons are very loud. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap up the video now. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down below. Make sure you're subscribed and give this video a thumbs up. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you in a video soon.